sometimes you have to take 2 steps back in life to take 10 steps forward, and that's what I've kind of realised maybe in the past week or two. Now, for the past week or two, I have just been stagnant in a way. And what I realised is I was very stressed, and I did two things wrong. Instead of solving the problem, I ran away from it. And I also got too enveloped in my own stress to realise it wasn't that deep. So, essentially, I had a couple things that I needed to do that were stressing me out. And I didn't necessarily want to do them, and I was procrastinating them. And the thing is, when you procrastinate something, it becomes something small to something extremely big. And when you get it done, it's not that big. And right now, I'm having issues with procrastinating. And I think there's multiple reasons. I think I need to refresh myself on my purpose. I think I need to develop more discipline. However, I think also being open and honest about this kind of stuff is very important as well. Okay, this channel, I don't have anything to sell you. I'm not a mentor. I don't do mentoring. I'm not a coach. I'm not a flipping course seller. This is just kind of the raw footage of, I guess, lessons I've learned and experiences I've gone through in life. Back to my point, I realised that obviously, because I was procrastinating and the beast got bigger, it stressed me out more. And in turn, because it stressed me out more, what ended up happening was more procrastination, running away from it, and I didn't have a logical view. Now, I usually preach the idea of having a unemotional view towards most things, but what I realised is my view towards it wasn't unemotional. It was emotional, even though I didn't really think it was emotional. Only when I look back on it, I realised that the stress I'm feeling is an emotion. And when you look at things from a stressed out standpoint, without a clear view, it really doesn't actually help you, I guess, put it into perspective the way that it needs to be put into perspective for you to understand that it's really not that deep. So that's 2 lessons. But I think when reflecting back on that now, it was difficult and I had to make hard choices that I didn't want to make. But when I made the choices, everything got better. And I realised that I was just engulfed in the stress. Okay, a lot of people they have almost like a victim mindset where they say like everything's going wrong. And when you ask them what's going wrong, the only thing they can say is one thing. Or it's one thing and then there's something else and then that's another thing. Okay. In reality, everything isn't going wrong. It's you being too emotional and stressy when you don't need to be. And to be quite honest, that's a very feminine thing to do. And as men, we shouldn't act like that. Now, obviously, there's times where you'll be stressed. Feeling emotion isn't feminine. But the way that you react to those emotions is. As men, because it is primarily men who watch this, I think everyone should strive to have a stoicism kind of attitude where they don't necessarily take shit from themselves and from other people, and they have a logical standpoint, a bird's eye view of situations. Now, I preach this, but it takes practice, and I'd say I'm relatively good at it, but there will be times where you catch yourself acting opposite because you get in a scenario where you never really noticed, as in like you weren't aware that the way that you're acting is like what you preach not to do. For example, I don't really get angry. I don't shout. Unless I'm really pushed to the edge. And I think like I can sit here and confidently say it is feminine to get angry and start shouting. I don't do that. I can also say it's feminine to be too emotional and act upon emotion. It's not feminine to be emotional, it's feminine to act upon the emotion that you feel, negative or positive, right? In reality, you need to get what needs to be done, and you need to be unapologetic about your discipline, essentially saying fuck your emotions. Because at the end of the day, it goes back to the good old adage of my success doesn't care about my feelings. My success doesn't care if I'm tired or not. All this fucking hustle culture bullshit. But it is true, right? Your work doesn't care about your feelings. No one cares about your feelings. Realistically, like, no one gives a shit. So, why should you? To an extent, obviously. If you're on the edge of killing yourself, you shouldn't ignore that. You should address the situation. You should address the problem, because that in itself is a problem. But yeah, I think the key takeaways from this are, when you find yourself in a state of stress, you need to take yourself away from the situation, look at it from a bird's eye view, assess the moves that you can make, assess which moves are the best moves to make, and then take action upon making the best move. I like stress because I think it makes me work harder to a degree. I think too much stress that isn't managed correctly is extremely dangerous, and it's what I fell for. So that's where the balance comes in. I'm not contradicting myself when I say that stress is good, but I'm also not contradicting myself when I say that you need to take a bird's eye view of the situation. I think the thing is, you can't let emotions cloud your judgment, and when you do let emotions cloud your judgment, you become blind to logic and realism and being realistic. So never let your emotions fully blind you. Obviously, there's a certain degree of each emotion that you need to have, I'd say. But I think the more masculine thing to do is to not necessarily let your emotions take control of you, but you take control of your emotions, and where suitable, use your emotions to benefit yourself, and where suitable, let go of emotions. Because I see so many guys, really now, like I speak to a couple of guys, and they really let their emotions affect them. They let, oh, I'm tired, oh, I can't do blah, blah, blah. And, some of these guys are really, like, good people. Like, they're really disciplined. They're really outgoing, they're achieving, they challenge themselves, but at the end of the day, they lack that stoicism that's needed to essentially say, fuck how I feel, I need to get this done. And I mean, I'm a culprit of this too. It's human nature to travel towards comfort over discomfort as your brain seeks to get the quickest hit of dopamine it possibly can. Doesn't matter where it's from. That's why druggies become druggies, etc. But I think the point here is that you need to do your best to control it, to learn how to master putting your energy and your emotions into certain things where it's suitable, because really emotions are just energy. If I don't give energy to somebody, I have no feeling towards them, I have no emotion towards them, angry, sad, happy, whatever. So it's all about taking that bird's eye view, not procrastinating and letting things get bigger, and just mastering and controlling the way that you feel, and in the correct suitable times and places putting your emotions into work or another thing that you're doing like gym or fighting, and then other suitable times and places or where it's not suitable, not putting your emotions into that thing, like arguing with parents, arguing with somebody that you're in a relationship with. It's all useless, and when you spend your emotional energy, like anger and sadness, to try to prove a point to your partner, not only does it allow them to disrespect you, as in they lose respect for you, but it doesn't solve any problems. So, like I'm saying, those are the key points before. Short video, but I think it's something important that people need to hear.